I'm 100% happier now than if I stayed with my traditional 9-to-5 job.
In this episode, how I make 7 figures every single year running my businesses. Without our businesses, there would be no way that we could live the lifestyle that we could live today. I don't actually even know how other parents do it. They have to hire help. And with our businesses, we can always be present in our child's lives whenever they need us.
I think that that's important. Again, this is living on $1 million a year in Silicon Valley. Did you hear what he said? He said, I don't even know how other parents do it. I don't know how other parents do it. Let me rewind the video. In the very beginning of the video, they was working. Look at her.
I'm 100%
grinding.
happier now than if I stayed with my traditional 9-to-5 job.
In this episode, how I make 7 figures every single year running my businesses. Without our businesses, there would be no way that we could live the lifestyle that we could live today.
And this absolutely 100% flies in the face of everything that we was having a conversation about yesterday when I told y'all and I said, yo, y'all need to be a little bit more open to the possibility of opening a business because you need to have a business mindset. Now, let me be clear. I have not watched this video. I do not know what's going to happen. I don't know what he does. I don't know what they do. I don't know any of that. All I know is that he makes $1 million a year, or he pays himself at least $1 million a year. He lives in Silicon Valley.
I don't actually even know how other parents do it. They have to hire help. And with our businesses, we can always be present in our child's lives whenever they need us.
That is one thing that has benefited me significantly. As much as I am very, very much immersed in what I'm doing from a business perspective, I will say that one thing that my lifestyle has afforded me is the ability to really participate and be in my daughter's life. Right? I have been there every step of the way. I was there when she got on her first yellow bus ride to go to school. I was there when she took her first steps. I was there when she went out of town. I was there in every step of the way at every major moment in my daughter's life. And we are very, very, very much connected and have a great relationship. But a lot of people have no visibility in their, a lot of these kids are still latchkey kids. A shout out to Alaquandria says, to be honest, I didn't like either side, but I voted blue. Thank you for being honest. See, let's get it.
The flexibility, that is so important to me so that we can be very, very active in our kids' lives.
Chinese. Yep.
My name is Steve Chu and I'm 46.
And I'm Jen Chu and I'm 45.
And together we make over $1 million in the Silicon Valley.
So they make together. And again, obviously you see the power of a married couple. Let's be clear right on that right away. The power of being married enables you to literally pull 10 times your weight. I'm not even going to talk about the financial benefits or anything like that because that's a completely different live stream. But my point is that being married and utilize that as an effective tool to continue to build wealth is unparalleled. More men are millionaires that are married than not. It is a fact. And I know that y'all like to, y'all don't like women or y'all think that every woman is for the streets and all of that. But some and a lot, especially the ones that's in my group, are absolutely dope. And if you can find you a person or align yourself with somebody that absolutely positively understand the vision and y'all work together to build this thing and you're not out here fumbling back, you can completely take over the world. With the right woman, you will take over the world. That is a fact.
Let me just text.
Wait a minute. 46 and 47. Are they still millennials? They said 46 and 47. Let me rewind that real quick.
My name is Steve Chu and I'm 46.
And I'm Jen Chu and I'm 45.
46 and 45. They must be at the very tail end because as far as I knew, I thought millennials was like 80 or 81 through something like that. And they had to be born in the late 70s, at least 77 or something like that, right? Because I'm 40 and I was born in 1982. And if she's 45, then that means that she had to be born in 1977 and 76 or 77 and 75. They can't be millennials because I'm a geriatric millennial. So I'm on the very, very tail end of what a millennial is. That doesn't even make sense.
Together we make over $1 million in the Silicon Valley.
You see how I be hearing certain things and certain things bog my mind? Guess all the millennials went broke, huh?
Let me just text them really quick. I'm just gonna text her, be quiet. Could
Can
you
guys not
stop,
jump around upstairs? We can hear it.
He still has his Halloween candy, so he's probably eating a lot of it.
Definitely not a millennial at all. Alaquandria says 1 million a year is goals. It's not that hard to do. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's not that hard to do. It's not as hard as y'all may think it is. Really, the hard part is not getting rich. The difficult part is being disciplined enough to get there. Most people don't have the discipline. They want their cake now. They don't want to make any sacrifices. So I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Which camera are we supposed to look at? Just this one. Okay.
Oh, that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you know they old.
I run and own Bumblebee Linens, where we sell handkerchiefs and linens for special occasions.
I'm a blogger, podcaster, YouTuber, TikToker, and I also teach an online class on e-commerce. Combined, our businesses make over $2 million in revenue, but our net income is around $1 million. $1 million anywhere, it sounds like a lot of money. And it's more than enough. We don't even spend a fraction of that amount.
We don't budget per se, but
Wait, if his gross is 2 million a year and his net is 1, I wonder where the 1 million in expenses come from. We gonna get there. I'm gonna break this down.
we definitely spend less than we make, and really there's not that much that we really splurge on.
Let's break this down real quick. Let me look at this budget. All right, we got $205 in subscriptions. That makes sense. $300 a month in gas. This is their monthly budget, right? So essentially, this is the equivalent of about $300,000 a year in spending. This is their monthly budget, okay? This equates to a little more than $300,000 a year, okay? 20 for all you, listen, for the mental math people, 25 times 10 is 250,000 plus 2 more months. That's another 50,000. That's $300,000 a year. So they got $205 in subscriptions, $300 in gas, $600 in utilities. What kind of utilities they got? $600 a month in utilities, and they're working out of their home? That can't be right. That cannot be right. No way you paying $600 a month in utilities. How? How, Freaky Jason? Okay. $1,000 in discretionary. That doesn't matter. The discretionary can be as high as they want it to make, because if they had $10,000 a month in discretionary, that would be fine to me, because they make too much. They make a lot of money, so it doesn't make a difference. Food is $1,800. $1,800 a month in food. They gotta go out to eat every day, or occasionally they gotta have a private chef coming in. That's what I do, but I only do it for certain parties. Then you bring in a private chef, you have them cook for y'all, and you have them cater it or whatever, so on and so forth. $1,800 a month. And food, $600 a month in utilities, $2,800 a month. The only way I can see them paying $2,800 a month in insurance is if they got a bunch of cars. And I'm guessing that includes, let me look at this. This is baffling me right here. Life, auto, home, dental, medical. Yeah, I can see that. $2,800 a month, because that's still high. Because I pay for auto insurance, where's my phone? I'll tell you exactly what I pay for all of my cars and auto insurance. Auto insurance, I pay Face ID. Come on. I pay the equivalent of about think $844. Let's just round it off. Let's say I pay $900 a month in auto insurance for the Benz, for the Porsche, for the Tesla, and for the Hyundai. All four of my cars, all combined, I pay about $900 a month just in car insurance. And a lot of it is just because they're newer cars. They're very, very expensive, and it costs a lot to repair electric cars. So they charge me a whole lot for auto insurance. But I pay the equivalent of $850, $900 a month in auto insurance. So $2,800 a month? That doesn't seem right. That seems off. Oh, homeowner's insurance. Maybe that included. That just seems crazy. It just seems really, really crazy. Housing, $3,600 a month. Yeah, that makes sense. I get that. IRA is $9,600 a month. Okay, that's good. And kids' education, $5,400 a month. So they go to private school. Yep. I guess. Giving their kids the best. Let's see. Wi-Fi, electricity, water, and gas. That utility cost is high. That doesn't even make sense to me.
Would say I splurge on maybe travel, and Steve splurges on game tickets. Besides those, we really don't.
That sounds like me in our life. Rita want to splurge on travel. I splurge on game tickets. I go to the games. Rita loves to travel.
Spend a lot, except for maybe on our kids' activities and their schooling.
My wife and I, we aren't extravagant people, so even if our businesses were to just completely dry up overnight, we would still be able to live 20 plus years given our current expenses.
Yep. What did I say? They started an e-commerce linens business after selling handkerchiefs Jen ordered for their wedding.
I purposely looked for handkerchiefs, and it's really hard to find in the US. You can find men's ones, but you can't find ladies. And so I was able to find some handkerchiefs from a Chinese vendor, but I had to order a lot.
Our first order of handkerchiefs was around $240, which amounted to about 500 handkerchiefs in total. When we first used handkerchiefs for our wedding and we sold off the excess, those sold like hotcakes because we listed them on eBay.
When we first started the business, I was massively pregnant, and we were running the business out of our house. We started the business for $630. By the end of the year,
I don't want y'all to miss that. I don't want to get too far into this video without breaking this down. They started the business with $630. Listen, y'all, and I've been telling y'all this for a long time, and I literally broke this down to y'all over the past few live streams that we've been doing, where we've been talking about money. I said to y'all, don't quit your job. I literally broke it down in the live stream. What was it, yesterday? Was that yesterday or the day before yesterday? Do not quit your job. You can start a business while you're working, and then if it actually blows up or it means that much to you, you want to put yourself in a position to where you're no longer depending on your income on your regular job in order to be able to substantiate and live your lifestyle. She literally started the business with $630, $630. Anybody can start a business. And it wasn't something like they didn't lean on what their passion was. Had nothing to do with that. She started it based off of an opportunity. She seen the opportunity cost that came along with what the market was requiring, right? Everybody liked the handkerchiefs at the wedding. She sold them. She ordered 250 of them or something like that. However many she ordered, 500, 250. She spent $250. She ordered it. She started the business. And now they're making over $1 million a year because they've grown the business and they learn how to look at things from a business perspective. This is literally the blueprint. They didn't have some kind of government stipend and all of this other type of junk. They literally just started it from nothing. They spent minor amount of money in order to order it. And now, see, somebody that I was coaching, they said, Anton, I got to make sure it's American made. I said, well, how many are you selling? Hardly none. Why? Because the cost is too high. Well, you need to figure out how to drive the cost out. Let me go ahead and give you the blueprint on how you can do that. And then we went through the coaching call in order to help him to understand how he can rebrand it, how he needs to get it in front of the people so that he can actually market it effectively. And he needed to make it at a competitive cost to where he had made a healthy profit, but then at the same time, he wouldn't lose his shirt. And he booming. He booming. Make sure y'all get a coaching call. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Brock says e-commerce is a beautiful thing. Dropping off my passive love offering. Thank you, Brock. We got all kind of stuff coming. A lot of y'all don't know, and I'm gonna expose this to the Patreon members first. I have equipment that I've ordered. I have all kind of stuff. I got a whole new building that I'm buying. I got factories Bro, we putting this together all the way across the board. I told you, my goal is to get rid of as much money as possible, but also making sure that I pour into the thing that's going to make us more money on the back end. But let's continue to go with the show.
Made over $100,000 in profit. I think it was 100.
Wait a minute.
Fast forward, some handkerchiefs from a Chinese vendor, but I had to order a lot.
Our first order of handkerchiefs was around $240, which amounted to about 500 handkerchiefs.
500 handkerchiefs. $240, 500 handkerchiefs, which is the equivalent of, let's just say, 50 cents a handkerchief. It cost them 50 cents a handkerchief. 50 cents a handkerchief.
When we first used handkerchiefs for our wedding and we sold off the excess, those sold like hotcakes because we listed them on eBay.
When we first started the business, I was massively pregnant and we were running the business out of our house. We started the business for $630. By the end of the year, we made over $100,000 in profit. I think
Started the business for $630. By the end of the year, they made over $100,000 in profit. Started the business with $630, made over $100,000 in profit. All because of A, they did not necessarily go with their passion, but they filled the need in the marketplace. And then B, they looked at things from a business perspective, understanding that if they order it in bulk and they can get it for 50 cents a handkerchief, if they order at least 500, they can probably drive the cost down even more. They're going to make a ton of money as a result of it.
it was $102K. Fast forward, we moved out of that house and into a warehouse space.
They have 2 in-house employees and 1 based in the Philippines. Now, if anybody know Anton and you know my strategy, you know one of the business that I have is offshore, meaning that the people that work for me are offshore. Why? Because I've driven the cost out of it so that I can order or offer a more competitive product at a lower price. I'm giving you a better product at a lower price. I literally just did the Frank Lucas. Is it Frank Lucas? My man that was in American Hustler. Cut out the middleman, went straight to the supplier, straight to the manufacturer. Anyways, let's continue.
My goal was to make maybe $5,000 to just help with the bills. Steve's goal was to replace my entire income.
E-commerce was actually not our first choice, but we found that starting those brick and mortar stores would cost us over $500,000 to start. Whereas with e-commerce, you can start with $600 or less than that. And that's why we ultimately settled on e-commerce. So Bumblebee Linens did much better than we expected, and it allowed my wife to quit. And then all of a sudden, I had friends asking me how we did it because they wanted to quit their jobs. And I got a little tired of answering the same questions over again, so I decided to document that on a blog over at mywifequitherjob.com. That blog served as—
This dude just straight up took he ain't got no super name. He ain't say, yo, I'm looking at this cooler over there. Coleman Job Prospects. He ain't do none of that. He says, my wife quit her job. That is the name of the business that he run. My wife quit her job.
a diary or a journal of our business. And what ended up happening is none of my friends actually read it. My mom didn't read it, but it attracted a bunch of random strangers who were interested in what we were doing. And from there, the audience just grew. In year 2, it started making tens of thousands of dollars. And in year 3, it hit 6 figures. And today, fast forward, it is now a $1 million business.
Shout out to you.
And the way it makes money is a combination of advertising, affiliate revenue, course sales. The blog actually led to a podcast and sponsorships, which led to a training class, which then led to an annual e-commerce event that I actually run over at the Seller Summit. Get a quick show of hands of how many of you are new to the Seller Summit this year? Wow. Okay. Well, let me just give you a quick overview.
He ain't cool. He ain't jazzy. He ain't none of that. Now, think about this for a minute, y'all. If he can sit over here and do this and sell this, why can't you? Y'all communicate more effective. Y'all flyer. Y'all can market yourself better, so on and so forth. But you can't do what he do. He didn't give you no complicated way. It wasn't no super crazy way in which he broke down how he was able to effectively do what it is that he do. He gave you the simple blueprint. And I'm telling you that most people that get rich, they're not the smartest people. It's not that he's super smart. He works hard. He consistent. His wife is on his team, and this is the argument that I had the other night, right? And I had the same argument multiple times last week before, month before. Shout out to my dog Patriarchy. Patriarchy told me yesterday women have no purpose except for the way that they look. Looking good to men. This man right here literally got rich because of the foundation and the idea that his wife started. So please help me to understand how women have no inherent value outside of what they look like and their ability to be able to open up their legs. And that's the reason why our communities are in the state that they're in today. And why we're getting passed up over and over and over again, instead of us looking at things holistically and trying to understand how other communities do things more effectively and taking those lessons and inputting it into our lives. We live in this silo where we just still trying to be like cavemen. Well, no, if you're smart, you start to put the women in a position of power and start to utilize their tools and their talents effectively so that they can then bring back the bag so that we all can win together. But no, we want to live in this caveman mentality where we say, oh, women have no inherent value. Well, this motherfucker right here would still be working a day job, and so would she over in Silicon Valley if she had not came up with the simple idea and said, hey, let's sell these handkerchiefs. I want to order it. I'm going to order it. We're going to make $102,000 in the first year. And then you leapfrog off of this. And then you say, hey, my wife quit her job. And then you get into the bag. Now they living off of $2 million a year while these Pookies and these Ray Rays are still talking about what women should do for them. Now, how does that make sense? Y'all tell me, do you want to listen to them or you want to listen to Steve over here? I'm just curious. And these are my guys. I absolutely love them. I rock with them. But at the same time, let's take the business lesson out of it. Let's take our emotions out of it. And let's try to understand how we can implement some of these same principles and economic policies so that we can then level up and become better versions of ourselves. And then we can control the narrative. Why wouldn't you take this as an example, as a learning example of how it is that you would align yourself with women that are dope? Okay, cool. You don't have to. More for me. More for Anton. That's what we used to say in church. More for Anton. More for Steve. More for Lucy. More for Anton. Hallelujah. Y'all can keep doing that dusty junk if y'all want to. See how that work out for you. Keep on having chicks throwing your kids McDonald's across the street because you ain't got no dick discipline. You don't understand how to network effectively. You're not making friends, but instead we want to continue to make enemies. All right, cool. You do that. We over here at the Bag Chasers going to continue to build this oasis. Shout out to y'all.
On an average.
See, look at this. No. Listen. This is what we dealing with our community. The same argument over and over again. Anton, that's not most women. Line up 100 women. Most women isn't Steve's life. Well, the question that I would ask to you, young man, wizard, is where are you getting these 100 women from? Because all of the women that you lining up is from the strip club. Now, if you want to ask a question as to how you can first level up yourself, because I'm not putting you in a room of women that's going to intimidate you because you're not capable of even being in a room with some of them. Not you specifically. We're talking about men in general, because you are what you attract. So if I sit here and I tell you, well, listen, I don't have that same type of problem, and all of the women that I interact with is more like his wife, that should ring off a light bulb for you, in that you shouldn't want to live in this silo where you continue to use the same talking points. What you want to do is start to put yourself in a position where you can align yourself with the right type of people and the right network. Stop getting in front of those 100 women and start getting in front of this 20 over here. That's dope. No, y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all don't want to hear that. But let's continue. He currently has around 5,000 subscribers. This man only has 5,000 subscribers. Check it out. This right here is real couples goals. Facts. Facts. But let's continue.
Day or average week besides holiday season, I work probably about 20 to 30 hours a week. I rely heavily on my employees. I'm there just to help manage and to help basically support them if things
She
are
built the
falling behind.
business. She created the processes.
I start the workday at around 8, and then I usually stop at around 12:30. And then the rest of the afternoon, I'm actually a full-time Uber driver / chauffeur where I just shuttle my kids, pick them up, take them to basketball, volleyball, and all these other activities.
This dude said he worked from 8 to 12. All right. Even I can learn something. Even Anton can learn something. So this is what I'm going to do. I need to simplify my life. I'm learning from this, right? What he just said, I need to rewind that because that was for me. He was speaking to me. He wasn't speaking to y'all. He was literally speaking to me. Let me listen to this again.
I start the workday at around 8, and then I usually stop at around 12:30.
Okay, that's for me. I'm starting my day at 8 and I'm ending it at 12:30. Actually, 1:30 because that's when the Millionaire Morning Show come off. We need to do things differently. I am going to structure my life a little bit more differently. I'm going to rely more on people and I'm going to move differently because I should not be working any more than 8 hours a day at this point. I should not. If he can work literally 4.5 hours a day and she can only work 20 to 30 hours a week, I can too. Watch me. Watch how I simplify my life.
And then the rest of the afternoon, I'm actually a full-time Uber driver / chauffeur where I just shuttle my kids, pick them up, take them to basketball, volleyball, and all these other activities.
Yep, I'm changing.
I don't think it's a good idea to work with your spouse. Things always come up.
Steve had a lot of suggestions on how to improve our business. And I must tell you, they were horrible because he had an idea of
I see you
taking
in
certain
there.
handkerchiefs that were butt ugly just because they were cheaper. And I was like, absolutely not. Let the professionals do this. And I actually make all the product decisions for our business because he really has horrible taste.
So he's leaning on his wife in order to continue to get to the bag. And so that's how they continue to win. He's leveraging her talents and he's letting her do her thing. Put people in power and put people in position to do what they need to do in order to build your business. Don't try to take away from them. Try to empower them.
So the way we have it now is actually really good. She runs the day-to-day, I do the marketing, and we do not step on each other's toes. We all have full control over our own domain.
I like how they got things rocking.
So early on when we ran Bumblebee Linens, we actually had the pedal down in the metal. And after a while of this rapid growth, my wife came to me and she's like, this isn't fun anymore.
It was definitely not fun. My goal initially for the business actually was, I think, $5,000 a month. And so at the time, I was like, if I can just help pay the bills, that would be awesome. Steve definitely wanted to push it a little bit faster. And when we were pushing it faster and faster, I was just like, I just can't handle all this stress.
And one time we hit the NBC Today show.
Monogram is everything, and I love it on Bumblebee Linens, and this is $15.99. Oh,
Dope.
that's nice.
And all of a sudden our orders were 7x the normal sales volume, and it was actually very stressful. When you're running a physical products business, it's generally uncomfortable to grow fast.
Shout out to Carl Oakley. Carl Oakley says, crazy thing is you hardly see any Asians out there talking about social and political issues. They seem to be focused on the bag, family, and legacy. And then they just do what they're supposed to do when it comes to voting and putting their money where it's supposed to be. That's the other caveat to it. The people that do the most talking are the ones that do the least amount when it comes to actually emphasizing or implementing the things that's necessary to be successful. You are absolutely right, Carl.
I really honestly thought that our goal was to just have a little bit of income to help with the bills. There's no way I would have guessed like so many years later that we would be as large as we are.
This should be interesting.
Joke that we're going to move out of California as soon as the kids go to college because it would be so much cheaper to live out of state.
They have the exact same plan as me and Rita. As soon as the kid, hey Les, how you feel, boo? As soon as Leslie is old enough to go to college, me, Leslie, and Rita are leaving because it's so much cheaper to live somewhere else. Ain't that right, Les?
Employees would be cheaper, the location would be cheaper in terms of rent for our office. I think he would be all in right now. Like he'd be like, hey, let's move.
I'd be all in because California taxes are really high.
Yep.
Let's just take Vegas, for example. There'd be no state income tax. Really, we can run our businesses from anywhere. We're not tied to any location whatsoever.
Yep. I
So
like this
financially,
purple.
at least, it probably makes sense to move somewhere else once our kids are off to college.
He focused on the bag. He like, yo, we can get cheaper employees. We can get no income tax. We ain't got to pay California half of everything that we make. We ain't got to bring in $2 million and only be taking home $1 million. He like, yo, we can do things a little bit differently and we can move. Same thing I'm doing.
When I used to be a finance analyst,
I'm always have a place here in Michigan, but my home state might be a little bit different because I need to make sure that we secure that bag.
prior to this role, I worked crazy hours. With this position at Bumblebee Linens, having that creative freedom to do basically what I need to do, I can work around my schedule. If it's slower, I can fully take that time off and not worry about it and work at my kids' school, for example.
In my past life, I was an electrical engineering director in charge of microprocessor design. That's a lot to take in there, but basically I just stared at a monitor all day. It was a pretty demanding job. I used to work maybe 50, 60 hours a week, and it wasn't as flexible because I actually had to physically be in the office.
Let your hobbies become your business, which then can take over and you can grow it. And then ultimately what happens is you have the ability to then quit your job. Let your hobbies, you're talking to a person like me that quit my job back in 2019, and then they just wrote me back in and said, all right, we'll give you a bag if you want to come back into the fold. And I said, yes, sir, I'll take that because it doesn't impede on what it is that I'm doing on a daily basis from a business or content creation perspective. But let your hobbies become the business, which then can grow into something monstrously. Come on, y'all. Jump into this. Let's get it. Listen, you should be able to come with some. I had a video a long time ago of starting a small business with under $5,000. You can literally start a small business for under $1,000. Under $1,000. Set you $1,000 budget. Y'all gonna go out here and buy these Christian Louboutins anyway. Forego that, right? And then set that as a budget for you to be able to start your small business as far as turning your hobbies into a business. And then we can scale that up. We're gonna figure it out. Come on, y'all.
Having the flexibility is super rewarding for me, and I feel like it's a win situation for me because I'm able to do something that I love and also be able to be a really huge part of my kids' education.
Growing up, I actually didn't see my parents as much as I would have liked.
Yep.
They were first generation Chinese. They actually came to the US with no money at all.
One of the reasons I'm really passionate about being really present for my kids is because my parents really worked really hard growing up.
Yep.
But my mom also passed away when I was pretty young. So now I just want to take that time back and make sure that I'm present for them.
That's dope. I like it. So what did we learn here today? The first thing that I learned specifically is that now that I bought my time back, I need to automate things even more. And I need to put people in place that can do things that would help me free up my time a lot more. That's the first thing that I learned. The second thing that I learned is that well, I already knew this, but the second thing that we should have learned is that we need to lean on the people that is in our network, especially if you are married, in order to empower them to be more valuable and help you be more successful. The third thing that we learned is that we need to turn our hobbies, or we need to seek opportunities within the marketplace for us to fill a void so that we can get really, really rich by turning our hobbies into a business. Fourth, and more importantly, is that we need to start to open our minds to the possibility that we can learn something. Even me, I looked at this live stream and I said, yo, that's dope. I need to figure it. Honestly, I got a million thoughts going off in my head right now of how I can simplify things and make it even easier for me to move a lot more effectively when it comes to what we're doing in this society. I love it. I think that it's absolutely awesome. So listen. Biden, he didn't get that great of a report, and that's okay. More importantly, make sure that you guys tap into the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We're doing some great things. Make sure you join the Discord. Don't be a dusty. If you need to get in contact with me, email me, antondaniel413@gmail.com. We're going to get you scheduled. It may not go the way that you want it to, but it's going to be exactly what you need. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you stay focused. Do not get caught up in no foolishness. It's Thursday. Some of y'all got paid today. Make sure y'all tap in with me on Lapeef Let's Talk tonight, and everything is awesome. I'm going to holler at y'all later, but I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, all right? Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful or rich by ourselves. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope you have a phenomenal day. Same time tomorrow. Peace.